And let's get you all the updates coming in the Maharashtra political crisis. The Shiv Sena has targeted the BJP through its Mouthpiece Saamana yet again. In the Sena Mouthpiece Saamana, they've slammed the rebel MLAs as well. The Shiv Sena essentially has in fact said that the Chief Minister of Assam is spending his entire sadhana for the yoga camp at Radisson Blu. So this is in fact the comment that Shiv Sena said. They've also said that the entire opposition in the country is united against these tactics by the BJP. Dev Kotak is joining us live from Mumbai with more details on this. So Dev, once again the Shiv Sena choosing to pin the blame on the BJP. What has become essentially a trend every morning is in their Mouthpiece Saamana putting out scathing articles about the BJP, but not talking about the crisis, perhaps the introspection that's needed within the Shiv Sena.
This is not the first occasion where Saamana, the Shiv Sena's editorial mouthpiece, is being used as a medium or a tool to attack anti-Shiv Sena policies or people who are against the Sena in any form. So, there have been several occasions, and for years, the Saamana is being used as a tool to counter the kind of policies that are being discussed in the state, especially where Shiv Sena does not have any consensus or is not in favor of something like that. So, like I mentioned, that this is definitely not the first occasion. So, of course, being their own newspaper, they're going to use it to attack the BJP and try to make them look like they are at fault and entirely responsible for toppling the state government and the political crisis, especially given the fact that Eknath Shinde, one of their rebel MLA, along with 16 more MLAs, has gone on to the has moved to the Radisson Blu Hotel in Guwahati. So, of course, they are using this as a medium to hide the problems that existed within the Shiv Sena, which in the first place prompted the MLAs to rebel. In fact, the Aurangabad West MLA Sanjay Shirsat in a letter also had said that Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, the state chief minister, has always remained unavailable. Rather than finding him at his Varsha Bungalow, which is the official residence of the chief minister, he would always be found at Matoshri, which is the Thackeray residence. However, they also say that it is because of the fact that he was always highly inaccessible and they were not allowed to meet him. In fact, even though they were the MLAs, more priority was given to people who were considered as opposition, which is the NCP and the Congress. They were given larger and greater access. Their MLAs were also given funds to conduct development work in their constituency, but whereas their own Shiv Sena MLAs who wanted to meet Mr. Uddhav Thackeray were denied access, especially by those people who were forming the inner coterie of Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. Yeah. They would decide and they would be calling the shots and taking calls whether a particular MLA can meet the CM or cannot meet the CM. So there was this growing amount of distrust and unhappiness that was brewing since a very long time. Of course, this is not something that took place overnight or in just a span of 2 to 3 days. So Mr. Sanjay Shirsat has also said that when the Shiv Sena votes did not split during the Rajya Sabha polls, then why so much distrust in us during the Legislative Council election? So these are the kind of very valid arguments that have been put forth. And Mr. Shirsat clearly went on to mention and clarify the fact that because all of us were so miffed and we did not know how to work around this problem, when we cannot meet our own chief minister, what can we even expect in terms of the good things to come out of the state during Shiv Sena's ruling tenure? So, Mr. Eknath Shinde is the one who really mobilized us and prompted us to, really go all out against this and show our unhappiness and display an open sense of distrust in the Chief Minister and the kind of actions that he engaged and indulged in, giving us very little access. So this is one very important point to try and counter the kind of arguments that have been made in the Saamana editorial piece.